Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta fight. When I say master, you say no.
Welcome to the Cheap Seats and Stickman podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2 of the mock draft for the WWE brand extension with Cheap Seats and Stickman. It's the Cheap Seats and Stickman podcast part 2. We've already given you 1 to 10, each of our picks. He's SmackDown, I'm Raw. We're going to give you picks 11 to 25. We're going to really dig deep, hopefully give you some interesting factoids, some surprise picks. Jose, Stickman, thoughts on part 1?
Well, part 1 was epic, if I can say one word. Okay, I'll say more words.
I was waiting for you to say more.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I will elaborate. Part 1 went great. Pretty much everybody who was supposed to go went. There may be a few surprises here, but the cream of the crop is still to come, baby!
Who would you say was your pick you're glad to get, and who would you say is your pick you were surprised that I took?
Well, honestly, the pick I was glad to get is right at the top. Seth Rollins. He's got it all, and that plus the bonus fact that I got to piss you off by taking him. But
son of a David.
Now, if there's one dude that I was surprised to get, it was looking here.
Surprised who I got.
Oh, surprised who you got?
Yeah, maybe a shocker that I picked.
Honestly, I was kind of shocked with Del Rio.
Really?
I know how you feel about him.
Don't be a perro.
Yeah, I'll swat you like a mosquito. But yeah, man, I know you weren't too high on him, so I thought I might be able to get him maybe in the second part here as a steal. But that's a money pick, man.
That's what you got to do. Is a really shrewd GM owner. You got to sometimes work with people you don't like. That's what we're doing. Especially
you got to put your personal feelings aside.
You do. For me, I was glad to get KO. That's my boy. That's my guy.
Yeah, I wanted that dude too.
I was happy about that. The one I was surprised about for you was shocked, downright stunned. You did not take Kinshasa with your first supplemental pick.
And say it with the emotion too.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, that was very tough to let go. Nakamura's been my dude from his New Japan days, but Balor to me is a star, like a legit. I mean, not to say Nakamura's not. It was just tough. It was a Sophie's choice, all right, and I had to let Nakamura go. But I got faith in Balor. I stand by my decision. I'm literally standing as we speak.
Oh wow!
Ooh. Yeah. I'm on my feet. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a handstand in a second, man.
That's serious multitasking. I'm quite impressed.
People visualize, man.
So, with that said, pick 21 first to SmackDown. Who is Stickman, a.k.a. Jose, going with?
Well, you know what? I'm starting part 2 off with the ladies. And this is a lady I am particularly fond of. I think she's done great for herself. She wasn't given much to do, but she's been proving herself with every opportunity she's got. I'm going with Becky Lynch.
Well, that's a good one. All right. I can take it.
Honestly, and this is just my take on it, man. I think Becky Lynch was put to the test at the Royal Rumble, that whole little feud with Charlotte, to see if she could earn her way into WrestleMania. You know what I mean? I really think if she had not shown them anything, it would have been just Sasha and Charlotte, done deal. But she really, really brought it. She got the crowd behind her, gave Charlotte quality matches, made it look like $1 million. And she earned her way into that match, as we know. And ever since then, she hasn't lost that. She hasn't lost a step. I love Becky. Her in-ring work, I think, is underrated. And I think she's a future women's champ if given the right opportunity, and the crowd would love it. So, Becky, that's my pick.
I completely agree. For 22, I'm going to pick a guy. I honestly, he was 14 on my draft board. There were just people, as the draft went along, I felt the need to go with them first. I really think at this point, at the number 22 pick, it's actually a pretty good steal. Some people might disagree. I've was a naysayer for a long time and a non-believer, but I really fully believe in him now. I really respect him so much. Number 22, SmackDown's first pick. Raw's first pick in the second part of
This guy, man,
draft.
I'm watching you.
I just like blue, you know. That's what it is. I just really gravitate to it.
Who's Baby Blue here? Baby Blue.
But with number 22, The Miz.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
Look at this, man. Mr. Awesomeness himself.
Yes.
Reeks of it.
You got to have a guy with his abilities. You know, he could. This is going to be interesting with this brand extension. He could be a guy that rises back up to that next level, and I'd be curious to see what he can do a second time around in the main event. But I mean, you got to have depth. You got to have guys that can make the middle of the show good. Can work with all kinds of guys. He really is one of those guys that can do everything very competently, or if not very good, and he can just wrestle and perform with everybody. I mean, he's just that kind of talented guy. So, Miz, 22 pick.
Nah, I can't argue that, man. Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see if he, if they strap the rocket to him again to see if he can repeat that run that he had as champ.
Yeah.
All right, so number 23 overall pick, my second pick in part 2. This is a very personal pick because this is one of my all-time favorites. A lot of people know this, and it's amazing to see he's still around at such a high level, but I'm going with Y2J. Go.
Damn!
Yes.
If Miz was already, if he wasn't sitting there nice and clean and not scribbled out like the other names, I would have went with Jericho. But Miz is there. I was like, I gotta go with him. He's a high value pick on my board. I've scouted him for weeks, of course.
Of course, I don't.
Wow, Jericho. Yep. I mean, that is a steal at this point. At number 23, which is shocking because we made a point of talking about in the first part, he wasn't even available at 9. He was still there at 19 in the 2002 draft. Like he was taken much later too. So it's almost history repeating itself.
Yeah, it's amazing that I was able to steal him at 23, and looking back at that original draft, it seems like a bookend because in between that he's done some quality stuff. There's no way he would have gone any lower in between that, but he's just not a draft guy. Go figure.
Yeah, and I mean, and also an interesting thing to add for your 23 pick, a 23 pick in the 2002 version, the original draft was one man named Tajiri. What was interesting about him is that back then when they did the drafts, whoever was holding a title, they brought their title with them to the brand. He was the Cruiserweight champion at the time, so it's a fascinating thing if we eventually see the Cruiserweight title on one of these brands, since they're doing the Cruiserweight, series on NXT. So that's an interesting thing to look at down the road, especially now that there is a brand split, now that there is room for even more titles. Maybe we do see that title on one of these brands some of these days.
For sure, and they've kind of had a change of philosophy lately with the people that they've taken, and evidence of that is some of the picks that we took in the first part where. Honestly, if they were to bring back the Cruiserweight title, it'd be good on either brand because you got cats like Neville over on your side. I got cats like Sami Zayn on mine.
Yeah.
It could work either way. They got plenty of talent to go around for that kind of a title.
All right, with that said, you know what? I mean, 24, you've taken the two of the very best female wrestlers. Have some people a little bit higher than this young lady, but I have to have a foil to go against Sasha. I have to build this female division on the Raw brand from the top with two great anchors. And I've already got her rumored boyfriend on the brand. 24 to Raw, Paige.
Look at that, man. The British beauty, Paige herself, man.
I mean,
very solid pick, man. Now, Paige... We pretty much you want to talk about the Divas Revolution, man. She was the first one of those NXT darlings to come up, and she made a splash right away. Can't argue with her momentum. She's kind of fallen off a little bit lately, but there's no reason to think she can't pick it up. She's super young. Major upside. Great pick, man.
Yeah, and the possibilities of a Sasha Paige feud down the line, and either one could be one or the other, good or bad. Fascinating. I think that's easy money for them.
Yeah, no question, man. So number 25 overall, man. Now, the quarter century, 25th, it's funny. We mentioned him earlier. Huge value pick. 25th overall back in 2002 was Chris Jericho, man. We mentioned how, he moved up 2 spots here. He's number 23 on our draft. You know what I mean?
It only took 14 years, but that's still good. That's still progress.
And then it's a huge feather in his cap, man. For my 25th pick, I'm going with somebody who I think can have a huge upside in the WWE system. They've been historically prone to size, and this dude is a biggin who has made kind of an impression on the crowd, I'm going with Baron Corbin.
What's interesting about that, interesting parallel, on my draft board, he is 25, the same number he's getting picked at. So I think I ranked him very well.
All right, yeah, it looks like we're kind of the same mindset on Corbin. He's around here currently. You know, he's feuding with Ziggler. The feud is kind of just there. You know, they've had some good matches on the pre-show. Won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal to kind of make a splash on the main roster. I think if he had stayed in NXT, he'd be a main event player down there. But
I'm surprised they didn't keep him in NXT. I thought he was like being set up to be the world champion there. So I was a little surprised he ended up on the main roster. It seemed like a bit of a forced move. I don't know if he was quite there yet, but hey, learn in the fire and see what you can do. And
yeah, man, throw him to the wolves. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. He just needs to find his footing. He definitely got the look. He got that heel aura about him. That kind of don't take no crap, don't give a crap about anybody kind of vibe. And he sells it well. So I think Corbin can go a long way as long as they protect him and present him right.
All right. Well, at 26, interesting. In 26, back in 2002, Matt Hardy was taken 2 spots before his brother Jeff. How that makes no sense to me.
What are you talking about, man? Mattitude version 1.
Stop it. Just stop the nonsense. I mean, this is... I think we all knew when those two came up, as good as Matt Hardy is, as consistent, as super solid he is, Jeff Hardy was the star of that team. And the fact that everybody kind of knew that, I'm sure they knew that, and they still... I mean, maybe that was the point. Maybe they were trying to say, let's show that Matt is as good, if not better, than his brother, and we'll take him early. But the fact that he was taken 2 spots before a guy who would actually become a multi-time champion and have very good feuds and lead SmackDown for some time is mind-boggling. Now, 26, I'm going to go with a little bit of a slight reach here, but again, I'm trying to make the best show possible, and he's a little lower than I have other options available that I would prefer to go with, but to complete what is a key unit and, again, money-making group in this company. And yeah, we're going with the concept of trying to make money here. We're being realistic. We're having guidelines that make some sense. I'm going to go with Xavier Woods to keep the New Day intact.
Good call. He adds so much to that group. New Day wouldn't be where it's at without Xavier. He adds so much to the presentation, his humor, his delivery, and even just the outside stuff. You talk about, some of that X material, like the marketing and being able to sell the product. His YouTube channel, the Up Up Down Down, is crazy entertaining for anybody who's checked it out. Showing the behind the scenes stuff, how some people, Rusev, Sheamus, even AJ Styles, he came in and just fit right in with that group. It's good to see, and without Xavier, we wouldn't be able to see that side of them. So it adds a lot, and he's a very important part of New Day. You can't break that up.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing with our guidelines, we were going with tag teams. He was kind of the odd man out of that tag team. Another one is Braun Strowman from the Wyatt family. Right. But if he had to bring it up, and if you took him with a pick for SmackDown, I wouldn't be against you doing that, because I think he has that talent that he could be a solid pretty good singles performer on his own, because he does have those mic skills. He does have something about it, and he's good in the ring. He's very underrated. I remember watching a match with him and John Cena a few months ago when they were still doing the U.S. title tournament. It was a good match.
For sure.
So he's a talent, but I prefer to keep the New Day together as long as possible, so that's why I pick him at 26. Who are you going with at 27?
All right, 27th pick for the SmackDown brand. I'm going to keep the theme up with the ladies. So far, I got Charlotte and Becky on my side. You already took Paige. So I'm going with another solid one. I'm going with Emma.
Well, you know what? That's what's interesting about the second part of the draft, because I had her on my draft, but I have her low. I had her 41.
Really?
I have, let me see, two women ahead of her. One is not a favorite of mine, but she is useful, but I won't say her name because maybe I'll pick her. But no, I can't blame you on that pick. She really did. Again, unfortunate. She came into her own. Boom, comes down to injury. But she was really starting to show something interesting when she came back up. And bad break.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
Oh no. Of course, my man. We wouldn't dream of it. But
no.
No, but Emma, her in-ring work was never questioned. It was a matter of her personality. They gave her a really bad gimmick to start off on the main brand.
Yeah.
She basically had to go down to NXT and reinvent herself, and to her credit, she did.
Yeah.
And she got over. She was, great as a heel down there. Dana Brooke added a lot to that presentation as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, given a second life on the main roster, she was just starting to get something going with Becky. And I want to recapture that on the SmackDown brand. So, since I got Becky, got to have Emma feuding there. And I think Emma is great and vastly underrated. Looking at the rest of the female roster, I think she's one of the best they got.
Yep, no, everything I agree with completely. So with the 28th pick, I'm going to go tag team again. I've always been a fan of this tag team. Well, actually, I've been a fan of one member of the tag team. So if they do break up on the Raw brand, very possible, I will like that. And not a problem with it. But if they stick together, it's fine too. And matches with them and Anderson and Gallows and New Day will be fun. I'm going with number 28 overall pick to Raw, Lucha Dragons.
Nice. Lucha. As I'm flailing my arms in the air.
Oh, yes.
Got us up. But yeah, we all know Kalisto. We were happy for the dude when he got his US title push, and it was good to see him get a singles run. They didn't do a whole lot with it. To his credit, him and Ryback actually had a few good matches there. But Kalisto has a great future. Sin Cara, we're not sure exactly how much he got left, but as a tag team, they're a popular act, totally solid mid-card act. Can't be mad at you for presenting them. They're great as a team, or they can be useful as solo acts as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, so who are you going with number 29?
All right, number 29. I'm gonna go ahead and complete the trilogy that we spoke about a little bit in part 1. This is a faction that wasn't popular when they were formed. They continue to be kind of a laughingstock when they disbanded. But this is the former leader of the nation of the League of Nations. I'm going with Sheamus.
Guys, going with Rocksteady.
Yes, my man. Bebop was not available, so I got to go with Rocksteady.
I would have drafted Bebop first if he was available. But,
he's busy, man. He went Hollywood. All right, so we're just left with Sheamus and his rhino horn. But,
yes.
Now Sheamus, it's funny. I've actually been quite a bit of a fan of Sheamus for a while, but lately he's just kind of been spinning his wheels. I just don't know what to say about him, man. It's like, I think kind of his best days might be behind him. He could prove me wrong, but I think he could be a solid mid-card talent. Can't go wrong with Sheamus. So
he's in such a weird spot because obviously he was one of those guys that again, personal opinion and stuff like that got pushed really far to the top right away. Like, he would have been a really good guy, kind of like what they're doing with Rusev. Win that second title, become like a dominant force, and then go to the top. But he got pushed so fast. So it's hard when you go to the top so fast.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're not there anymore? Because in the end, you're not going to stay there. So how do you reinvent yourself and stay fresh? And he's a character he's had slight wrinkles in his character, but not much. So it is kind of like the same guy for the last bunch of years. So it's like, where do you go from here? And the League of Nations is a good idea because it was something different with him, but even that didn't even last very long. So he's in a really interesting spot. I mean, he's super useful, and he's a guy that is good because he puts on such an intense, aggressive style. He's got the look and everything.
Right. He has great work for a big man, and it's interesting because we're sitting here doing a draft for the brand split. He's one of the dudes that definitely benefited from the previous brand split. I mean, he was a cornerstone of SmackDown. Had a couple of world title reigns. Got the feud with Mark Henry when he was doing his Hall of Pain gimmick.
Yeah,
and was to his credit carrying the brand for a little bit. He was totally solid as a face, and he's a good big man who could work. So maybe he can recapture some of that glory now with this brand split.
Yeah. Now for me, for number 30, we're up to 30 picks now. I'm gonna go with someone who's also a guy that been around a long time. He's kind of in a weird spot in his career, but he's embraced this weird spot in terms of coming in and out and being useful and helping build new people. And he's bulletproof at this point. You can't hurt him. He's been around so long. He's a name. He's a future Hall of Famer. Number 30, The Big Show.
Ah, okay. I was wondering which one you were going to go with because there was a couple of ways you could have gone there, but Big Show. Yeah,
what
definitely.
were you thinking of the other ones?
I was thinking maybe Kane or Mark Henry.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Henry, I have him way down the draft, but I have Kane there. But Big Show he still is useful because it's in my book. Now, people will disagree with me, but pound for pound, abilities-wise, I think he's the best big man ever. Now, I'm sure people are like, what? Undertaker, what are you talking about? I'm just talking about abilities. I'm not talking about all around, aura,
Right.
Mike, character. I'm just talking about for a guy his size, what he can do at that size physically. And I've never seen someone that size. I mean, Brock Lesnar's like that too. I mean, he's on the same par. They're just freakish. But for a man that huge to do what he can do and still doing it now is impressive, extremely useful. He's a character. That's one of those guys that, can easily have gone stale. Like if Andre the Giant was in the world we are now where there's 2 shows on TV, round-the-clock television, social media, Andre the Giant probably even gets stale too. But Big Show has done a good job of making himself a funny character, an interesting character, fun, and he literally has switched back and forth heel or face so many times. He can do either or. Credibly, and you can use them anywhere you want.
Oh, yeah. And he'd be the first to tell you, too, that he's kind of not a fan of the way he's kind of been rubber banded back and forth. He even feels that he could have been booked better. Yeah. And he's right. But, yeah, no question. Big Show as a talent, one of the best big men of all time. There's no debate about that, whatever your personal feelings about him.
Yep. All right, number 31, the SmackDown.
All right, 31. I'm going with Braun Strowman.
Oh, wow. I don't know about that one, guys.
Yeah, the pronunciation of that is a total hack alert for Taz Show fans. The reason I'm picking Strowman, and I had him with a disclaimer. Mm-hmm. If I did not get the Wyatt family, I wasn't getting Strowman, but I did. And
if you put it that way, that pick makes it's a smart pick. I'm sorry, I apologize. That's a good pick.
Oh no! I mean, I know how.
Because otherwise, I think it was terrible. I had him at 40 on my board.
That's why we're here, man. I'm looking at your picture right here on the monitor, man. So I'm keeping my eye on you. But if I had gotten the Wyatt family, and fortunately I was able to in part 1, I was gonna get Strowman just to complete the package. Yeah. Not a big fan of his work, but the dude's been in the business for 2 years tops, maybe?
Yeah.
So, there might be some upside to him. We just talked about Big Show and his skill set as a big man. Maybe Strowman can get to that level. Maybe he can't. It's worth taking a chance on him to see what he can do under the Wyatt family learning tree and see if he can break out on his own eventually.
Yeah, I had him much lower. I had him at 40 on my board, but I mean, I didn't have him all the way down, and I can see myself reaching for him later because in this game, you need a giant. And if not for Big Show still being around, and maybe if you would have took Kane or something like that, I probably would have went for him too, because you just have to have a giant, because it's just the look, the uniqueness of that kind of character, the underdog story you can put with a number of performers, so you got to have that guy. So even in that vein, he's useful. I was never a big fan of Great Khali, but he was still useful in that way. You just have to. It's just a part. It's like a traditional kind of character in the industry.
Yeah, traditional is the right kind of word, because in the long history of professional wrestling, characters like this have always been a draw. Mm-hmm. So you got to have somebody like that to kind of have a little bit of a flavor of all kinds. So.
Yep. I completely agree. All right,
so number 32.
Number 32 from Raw. Now, I've got a couple of options here. I'm going to go with this guy. I have mixed feelings on him. He is physically great look, ring work, wrestling, athleticism, fantastic. Only thing is, I'm not a big fan of how he talks right now, how his character is developing. I
think I know who you're going with.
He seems goody-goody. He's going to need to work on it. He's going to have to get, as Vince McMahon likes to push people, like, aggressive. Get aggressive. So, the man that needs to get aggressive is, and my number 32 pick, and oddly enough, he's 32 on my board, Apollo Crews.
Ah, yes. He was definitely next on my pick, so if you wouldn't have gotten him, I would have snatched him up. For sure. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting for exactly what you said. He has all the tools. He just needs the right presentation. It seems like he's just kind of there. He doesn't have a really character to latch on to yet.
Yeah, I agree. Number 33 for SmackDown.
All right, 33 for the SmackDown brand is going to be Titus O'Neil.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. This is where, personal feelings and how you look at and view a performer make the decisions. Now, why would you go with Titus O'Neil? Please.
Well, I would go with Titus just because it's interesting. He doesn't have a whole lot of time left. The dude's almost 40.
Really? Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Titus is pushing it. You know, what I mean,
Wow.
he was a late bloomer. He was kind of brought into the business late by Batista, who was his neighbor at the time. But in the time that he's been here, it's interesting. He could have been kind of a mid card level talent, but with the primetime players, he was kind of shackled with Darren Young, who I'm not as big of a fan of. But to their credit, they were a totally decent tag team. They were entertaining. And Titus has that one thing that a lot of people that haven't been given that kind of a chance lack is confidence.
Yeah.
You can tell Titus, can he's doing this for kicks. You know what I mean? He takes it seriously, of course, but he's having fun out there. It shows. And he has that genuine charisma, you know what I mean? He's a talker. And the crowd kind of connects to him, even though his push has been kind of stop and go.
Yeah.
So I think he'd be totally solid to have in the mid card,
All right. So 30. That was 33.
That was 33. Yep, 34 overall. Keep us up.
Wow, we're really moving along here. Now, this is a tough one. There's a couple of tag teams still there, still hanging around. Very good tag teams, former tag team champion tag teams. I'm not gonna go there with either of them yet. I'm gonna go with an interesting pick.
Okay.
And it's gonna be someone. She's really good at making people dislike her because she just seems like a dislikable kind of person, but that's why she's talented. Not really a fan of her, but that's why she's good. She's good at being bad. And I just want to keep one of my main talents happy by having this lady with him. And let's be real, she looks good! Nikki Bella, 34th pick.
Okay. I was wondering who this was going to be, but okay. Longest reigning Divas champ, as they love to remind us.
Yep, and I wasn't even sure if she was going to be available for this draft pick. Everything seemed to be pushing towards her. Maybe like her career might be over with the neck injury, but recent reports are saying she's wanting to come back, and since John's back, I'm sure she wants to be with her boo. So I mean, she's a good addition. I mean, there's always you can knock certain elements of her game, but she's come a long way. Her and her sister have come a long way, and a feud with her and Sasha and her and some of the other female wrestlers it'll be entertaining. She's good at what she does. Love her or hate her, she knows what she's doing. She's good at what she does.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's been one of the most improved talents throughout the years. She really was coming into her own with that character, and not the biggest fan of her either, but I understand your reasoning for taking her. So
I mean, how could you not have some delectable eye candy like that?
Oh, there are worse things to look at on your screen than one of the Bella twins.
Yes.
You cannot go wrong, especially with this one. Yeah, all right, so as I catch my composure here, I can't even pronounce it. That's how flustered I am over here, for God's sake. All right, Nikki, out of the mind you go. But for number 35, I'm going with this guy because, for the love of God, somebody has to push this dude. It's been way overdue. And I mean a sustained push, not just one night at WrestleMania 32.
Goldust?
Our boy, Zack Ryder.
Yeah. I can't blame you. Can't blame you.
I love Ryder. I'm just going to come out and say it, man. I love Zack Ryder. I love the fact that he got himself over despite the odds. Hated the way they wasted him. It's been, we've all, talked about it ad nauseum, about the brass rings that he reached for, that he obviously grabbed, the invisible legendary brass rings, and just the fact that he's been floundering. The crowd wants to see this dude pushed to a degree that's sustainable. And the talent is there. I don't get it. This is one thing that I've never gotten, why this dude has not gotten more of an opportunity. And when he finally got one at WrestleMania 32, they very quickly squandered it. And now he's back to tweeting, tweets from a restaurant during WWE pay-per-views because he's not being used again. So it's a shame. It's a shame. But no, Zack Ryder deserves better than that. I'm going to give him a crack.
Yeah, no, good pick. Had him right around there. I mean, how could you not want to have a performer that can self-promote themselves? You don't even got to use TV time to promote him. He's willing to go do it himself. Yeah, I mean, he's, he's not gonna win, best wrestler of the year awards. I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler. He's very good. It's weird. It's probably part of the almost brainwashing the company has given even me as a fan by not promoting him and pushing him. And they're like, oh, he's not good enough, but he's good. I mean, there's just a likable quality about him, and you want to have people like that on the show and have them on the show a lot, but they just don't seem to be very big fans of his. So it's unfortunate, but it's a good pick for you for SmackDown. I think you will use him much better than they will.
Woo, woo, woo.
You know it.
Damn straight.
So number 36.
Yeah, we are flying through this one, man.
I'm gonna have to go tag team here. Now this is a tough one because it's two tag teams. One I like a lot. One I'm so on. One has more time, more wear on the tire to go. One has very little wear. One could be more beneficial in the short term. One could be more beneficial in the long term. One is being used more than I probably would prefer. One is being underutilized. I'm going to go just with a personal pick here. I'm going to go with the veterans here. Number 37, the Dudley Boys. Excuse me, number 36, the Dudley Boys.
36, yes, sir.
I mean, I just don't know what they're doing with them, and they've pretty much really diminished them so much right now. But maybe with the brand split, I don't know how long their contract is set for. I'm hoping it's not very short time left. Maybe they have some time here the next year or so to really get back to where they need to be and really just be a useful team again and just dominate. Start putting some people through tables and do something interesting with these guys.
Get the tables.
Exactly.
No, you're absolutely right, man. It's to the point where we're questioning why they even brought them back in the first place.
Exactly.
Because they came back to massive fanfare. Obviously, their resume speaks for them for itself. And here they are just kind of, floating around when they shouldn't be. They're a huge name and should be used better. I don't get it. And honestly, their time is running short. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Dudleys, kind of go behind the scenes and just never hear from them again. So they should be better utilized while they got them,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're at the age where this is where it's kind of close to still being active and a good quality performer. And they're still there. They're still right there. Not much time left, so you want to get the most out of them. But, yeah, it is what it is. It's unfortunate. But who are you going with? 37.
All right, 37, I'm going with a tag team as well. And I'm not sure if this was the other team you were talking about. Might not be, but it's somebody that I'm probably a little more fond of than most people are. I'm going with the Vaudevillains.
Oh, was not the tag team I was talking about, but I do agree with you. There's something good about them. I really was worried when they came to the main roster. I was like, oh man, I don't know if this is gonna work, but they've done a pretty good job being handled with a gimmick that's really weird and. It could be disadvantageous, but this guy doing WWE, that sold me, and I was like, what, these guys got more going for them than I thought.
Yeah, a little bit of a litmus test, is let's take the casual fan. My niece, she watches wrestling with me. She knows the character, she knows the deal, but she's a little more casual than I am. She saw the Vaudevillains and liked them right away because they were unlike anything else on the show. Like the entrance, like their look, the old timey gimmick, it makes them stand apart, and their work's solid. You know what I mean? And like you said, to their credit, they've made the most of their opportunity that they've had since they've been called up. You know what I mean? Where they could have easily gone the way of the Ascension, they're hanging around. They're still being used. You know what I mean? And they've been really solid. That freak accident with Enzo notwithstanding, that could have happened to anybody. So I think they might be a little bit better off than we might have thought.
Yeah, I agree. There's something there that they can be something interesting going forward. It's somebody like the Dudley Boys do leave, or maybe they do break up Enzo and Cass. That's a team that can be plugged in and really do some useful things and be pretty good with some tags. I mean, their feud, while short with the New Day, it's been entertaining, and I'm curious to see what they do in the 4-way match at Money in the Bank. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that match should be real interesting. I'm surprised we're going to go in with a 4-way, but it should be mayhem, but in the best sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For me, number 38 pick. Again, this is where it gets tough. I'm gonna go tag team again. So I'm gonna have a good stable tag team. The Dudley Boys, the New Day, Carl Anderson and Gallows, the Lucha Dragons. I'm gonna go tag team again, and I'm gonna go with a team I've never been a big fan of, but they are talented. They're colorful. Kids like them. the Uso brothers.
Yeah. So that was the other team you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they're like the opposite of the Dudley Boys, where they're pushed a little bit more. They're youthful. They have a different kind of thing. I mean, they're fun to watch, and you put them with certain teams. Like they're feuded with the New Day when the New Day was still a heel team. Was a good feud. It was a really, really good feud. I'm so on what they've done with them recently, but I don't mind it. You know, it's good to see some other tag teams in the forefront. But I mean, this has been a team that's a model of consistency for quite a few years now, multiple-time champions, and they are so overdue for that heel turn, go bad, something fresh, something new, and that might be something useful on a brand to keep to really rocket them again. You know, it'll be something different. Them going bad is about time. So. You know, maybe that'll be something to look forward to in the brand extension or on my Raw brand, and we will see what happens.
Oh, yeah, man. You know, you're right. They're way overdue for a change, and they're a perfect example of putting somebody with somebody and expecting one result and getting another. If they thought that putting them with Roman was going to get them more popular, that was a gross miscalculation, because now they're basically getting the same reactions as Roman has hurt them more than it's helped Roman. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate for them. It really is.
Exactly.
All right, brother. For number 39 here, I am going with another veteran. Doesn't have a whole lot of time left, but this dude is pushing 50.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think you know where I'm going here, but and let me make this clear. There will be no corporate before my pick here. I'm going with the Demon Kane.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant R-Truth for a second.
Oh no. That's a different older dude.
I was like, Jose, I mean, there's Reach, and then there's just Reach. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I actually know where I am, unlike R-Truth most of the time.
Yes.
Although that gimmick does crack me up a little bit, and his refusal to call Byron Saxton anything but coach.
I like the pick. Kane,
yeah.
You know, he, again, like the Big Show, doesn't have to do it all the time, but just bulletproof, cannot be hurt at this point, has been around so long, has done so much. You know, you put him in there with certain people, you know, you want to help a new guy get big, or maybe him coming to make a bad guy look good, like they kind of did with, you know, the Wyatt family and Strowman. I mean, just a really, and he's always a guy that maybe you have a tough time, you have some injuries, you really can throw him in there for like a 2 to 3 month period with some major feuds, and he can get it done for you.
Oh yeah, he's an all-timer. A very steady hand, and he can gauge talent, which is another important thing. You know, he can kind of tell you where they're at, whether, you know, they deserve a better push or whether they need to kind of go back to the drawing board. Got to have somebody like that on your roster. So.
All righty, number 40, down to the final 11 picks. Now, I'm going to go with an interesting pick here. It could be looked at as a reach just because the man is injured, but if he can come back healthy, and he can get back what he had before. He's always been a bit of a diehard fan's darling. He's super talented, has connections and pedigree to one of the premier families in the sports. And I have his former tag team partner already on my roster, ready to go if that has to happen.
So we have a reunion maybe in the works.
One Tyson Kidd.
Yes. Totally good pick, man. This dude is, for the longest time, like you said, a darling of the wrestling fans. He got talent to spare. Might not have the most charismatic presentation, but with that kind of a pedigree, it doesn't matter. And like you said, maybe if they bring back the Cruiserweight title, he's an instant player.
Yes.
And yeah, who knows? You know, like you said, this injury has obviously garnered them a lot of sympathy, so he might be able to come back with more momentum than he's ever had.
That's
this might be his time to shine. So,
and I like what he did before he was on his way. I like the whole look of the headphones, you know, going with this athlete, you know, fitting into what's cool and known today, and it kind of modernized him in a certain way and made him, you know, popular for what's going on today. It made him fit and made him more understandable, more, you know, it just helped him out. And I like that he was moving in that direction, and he started bringing wrinkles to what he had to offer. So, I mean, he was going in the right direction before he, you know, came down with this terrible injury. So, yeah, I mean, and if something doesn't work out and, you know, Cesaro isn't allowed to really, you know, bloom into a big star, you know, they can go right back to that tag team. That's a really, really good tag team right away.
Yeah, definitely a solid pick with good foresight there, bro. For number 41, I'm going to complete another piece to my puzzle here. I have Becky Lynch on my roster. I have her rival Emma, so I'm gonna get and couple Emma with Dana Brooke.
Ah, all right, fair enough.
Keep
Fair
that
enough.
feud going. I liked where it was going. I liked the pair of Emma and Dana Brooke in NXT. I think they can do great things together. You know, you don't really see, notwithstanding that whole Divas Revolution where they all of a sudden had cliques going on. You don't really see Divas paired up as much unless you're a Bella twin. But Emma and Dana had a really, really good dynamic. And Becky's the perfect foil for them. I'd like to see that going on, continuing on the SmackDown brand.
All right, fair enough. All right, on the 42, Raw
Yes, sir.
pick. I'm going to go with another female athlete to accompany your female. And this one, she's a really, really good athlete. She's always, she's trending upwards. She still could use some smoothing on the edges, and you can't blame her. She hasn't been in the sport that long. And I'm also going to keep a boyfriend on the roster happy. And she is a phenomenal, maybe arguably pound for pound, the best female athlete in the company. Number 42, Naomi.
Oh, didn't see that one coming. That's good. That's an interesting little pick there, man. Naomi's a sleeper, definite sleeper.
And she has the ability, I'm surprised they haven't pulled the trigger on this, and you could make the Usos bad, pair her and maybe Tamina or just her up with the Usos as a, evil female manager, valet, and you got money there. And it could easily work because she can go right in. You can start doing some mixed tag matches, and she's very talented. She has everything. At this point, I'm actually a little surprised she hasn't become the Divas champion or now the Women's champion. But, maybe with that brand split, maybe she gets the opportunity to finally get that goal that she's probably well-deserved and earned.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point, and I like the presentation you kind of set up there with the Usos going heel and her going with them, because Naomi's really started to shine once she turned heel. She finally got a character she could latch on to.
Yeah.
She got comfortable with it, and for anybody who watches some of the other shows on the WWE Network, like Ride Along, they had an episode with the Usos.
Yes,
Tamina,
which
and
was very good.
Yeah, that was a great, and a great showcase to see. Obviously they're comfortable with each other. She's married to one of the Usos. The other ones, obviously, they're like family at this point. So it wouldn't be a thing for them to go out there and just, have fun with it. So,
the best thing that ever happened to her was going bad and getting away from being called a funkadactyl, for God's sake.
Funk is on a roll, man. Come on, you don't like the pom poms? Come on,
No, take them away.
I will say this, man. I'm glad that Naomi was the survivor and Cameron not.
Yes. Totally agree.
All right, brother. For number 43, my next pick is another dude that is just floundering. We saw him on TV this week for the first time in forever, at least on Raw. I'm going with Jack Swagger.
Ooh, interesting. All right.
I think Swagger, not the best promo. Yeah, let's just get that out.
Not at all.
But the dude has the size. The dude can go in the ring. And the crowd still likes the guy. The crowd it wants to see something done with this guy. And he got talent. There's room for him on that roster to do more than he's actually doing. He's one of the dudes that can really benefit from the brand split in terms of getting exposure, maybe some kind of a push, some semblance of a reminder that he's still a guy that gets a paycheck, for God's sake. But I could easily stick him just, going down the line. I could stick him in a feud with O'Neal, a minor league, a minor feud. Even maybe pair them up to go against, the Vaudevillains. Something that simple. It really could. And, he has enough talent to carry something like that. So I think he's a good addition to our roster.
Yeah, and I mean, he's at this point just like the NFL draft. You going into the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. You want to find someone that can maybe either be a diamond in the rough, or just someone that can just fill a roster spot and be good and be consistent and be there and be reliable. And that's what we're looking for at this point. And Jack Swagger is a guy. I mean, I still am surprised he was a world champion, but this guy's a world champion, multiple titles held. He's been in a tag team. He's super solid, consistent, can rely on him. He's always there, and there's nothing wrong with taking him in that pick. Not at all.
Yeah, former world champion at number 43.
Yes.
But we all know that.
How far his stock has fallen, but, there you go.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes. So,
all right.
We got at 44 there, brother.
44. Now, we're really looking for some interesting choices here. Now, what I have left on my board, it's not blowing the old hair back here. But I'm going to make this choice just because again, if you haven't noticed, I like to keep my performers happy, especially if they've got a lady on the roster.
Motivation is key.
Yes, you want to keep these guys on the road happy, healthy,
Laid.
Though if you've been in relationships, you never know. It can be stressful too.
True.
But you want to keep having, and also she's useful because she's already paired up with this man, and they've really become an interesting combination. She's not wrestling right now, but she actually was a former Divas champion and a very good in-ring performer, and I look forward to her wrestling again. And I mean, she looks good. Maurice, number 44.
Maurice, welcome back to the WWE. Yes. Maurice, she's it's funny. She's only been back a couple of months, and it's like she never left.
Yes,
she adds a ton to the Mrs. presentation, man.
Yes, that was the best thing they ever did for him since Alex Riley.
Oh yeah, we all know how great that turned out for Riley.
Yes.
That's another one that never made sense. But hey, Maurice adds a lot to the presentation. They look like $1 million. And just like Naomi with the Usos, they got that real life thing going on to where it's not a thing for them to go out and just do their thing together.
Yeah. The chemistry is natural because of their relationship. And, I mean, she knows what she's doing out there. She's good at what she does. They play off each other so well. Yeah, I mean, just, with the split, maybe she gets the opportunity to get back in the ring and really showcase that she is a well-rounded performer and pretty good at what she does. And even when she was Divas champion, even though she has an accent, she could put on a good promo too and get across the story and make you dislike her. And
totally agree. She was really good as with her run as a heel champion. She owned her character. So yeah, absolutely right. And did you mention that she looks good?
I think I said she looks good
with the emphasis, man. Mrs. a lucky man. So. Yes. All right, brother. Number 45. I'm gonna take you back to the 2002 draft real quick for a little bit of a note. We've been going over some of this stuff, and here's another value pick that was taken back then. Back then was Christian, who everybody thought would probably be the Marty Jannetty of the Edge and Christian show.
That's almost like the Manu Ginobili pick for that draft, because like Manu was picked late in the second, became a top guy, really useful. I mean. Yeah, that at 45, I mean, that's a fantastic pick by them.
Yeah, 45, he became a future world champion, and he's still hanging around with the Edge and Christian show. Proved his worth, to his credit, you know what I mean? So, very cool stuff. My number 45 pick probably won't reach those heights.
Oh, no.
But, something about this guy... The fact that he's even still with the company amazes me. But it's Heath Slater. Heath Slater survived 3MB. He's surviving the Social Outcasts. For some reason, I don't know what incriminating pictures he got. Or who?
Yes. What office did he walk into and it was like a Clinton Lewinsky moment going on?
Seriously, man. What did he work out? Whose soul did he steal? But
yes.
This dude is still out there doing his thing, and the crowd likes the dude. And looking back to the one major thing that he's had to do in the past few years was that little time when they were bringing back all the legends to kind of job him out.
Yeah. Yes.
They brought back Vader. They brought back Lita. Of course, he did the honors for all of them. But he owned that, man. He got himself over with his catchphrases. The way he'd come on and say "baby,"
Can I get one more baby?
So one more baby. He's a one-man band. Yes. But you think back to somebody like a Santino Marella, who was a comedy character who reached heights that nobody thought he would ever reach. That's important on the show. I mean, we've talked about the wrestling aspect of everything. The entertainment aspect can be just as important. Not everybody has to be a Hall of Famer. Not everybody has to be a multiple-time world champion. Sometimes you just got to entertain the kiddies, entertain the folks.
Yeah.
Heath is good at that. And, I think he's a totally solid pick to take on anybody's roster.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about taking it with my next pick. I mean, in the end, this is a show, and you got to have a balanced show, and you have to have, a comic relief. And that's the interesting, and then, in an era where we have social media, so wrestlers can kind of speak out. Ryback wasn't happy with his role.
Right.
Cody Rhodes wasn't happy with his role. Dolph Ziggler has admitted unhappiness with his role. And I get that. Especially you've seen JR say, "Oh, there's too many guys that don't want to really push to the next level," and you have guys like those guys that really want to get to the next level. But you do need guys that are just fine with knowing, okay, I am not going to be world champion. I am not going to be a superstar, but I want to be here. I enjoy what I do. I want to make a good living, and will put everything into doing that. And he's one of those guys that has no problem with it. And also, what's great about him, talking about up, up, down, the thing that he's doing on his own that's really helping him out is that the game night show that they have on WWE Network. And he's hosted a lot of those shows, and he's really good. And he shows another side of himself that's probably helping him along. And if you haven't watched that on the WWE.com, excuse me, not the network, WWE.com, go to it and watch the game night. I forgot the full name, but there's a whole bunch of shows. They just recently did one where it was a donut knots eating contest with Cesaro, Renee Young, one of the referees, and Connor from the Ascension. There also was another one where it was the New Day of Xavier Woods and Big E, Page, and that same referee who's in all these, and he's helping his game, and doing Twister. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of these vignettes. I'm gonna have to check them out. But I did see a picture of Paige doing Twitter, and my tongue hit the floor. So, if for no other reason to check those out, Paige doing Twister, we repeat.
That's the kind of stuff why I would give my earlier draft pick, Alberto Del Rio, a high five for what he's got.
Que perro.
But at number 46, which is interesting to go back in time, like Huey Lewis in the news, 46 overall pick in 2002, the 23rd for Raw, was shockingly Trish Stratus. 46. Now let me let you know some of these amazing divas that she was picked after. Now, firstly, she was picked after Lita. No shame in that. Nothing wrong with that. Lita's one of the greatest of all time. Some people feel she's the best female wrestler of all time. That's all personal opinion. But the name Stacy Keibler. I like Stacy. She's had some of the best legs I've ever seen in my life. Why was she picked before? Another good one, Ivory. Super solid veteran. Pretty good.
Right.
I don't know. Ivory. I mean, another one, Terry. Come on. Terry wasn't interesting once she went from Marlena to Terry.
No.
She wasn't the same. Miss Jacqueline. Okay, fine. Hall of Famer. Pretty good. Scary. She could probably whoop my ASS. I know. Fine. Here's the real shocker, and this is just total favoritism, makes no sense. Tori Wilson can't even wrestle, and she was taken before Trish Stratus, people.
Yeah, this was definitely a sign of the times for Tori Wilson and all these guys to be taken above Trish. If nothing else, this is, same thing with Christian, proof that a low draft pick can overcome that and really give them more than what they accounted for. I guess this was before Trish really broke out as a single star.
Yeah.
But fast forward a few years, and Trish is arguably, with the exception of maybe Lita, like you mentioned, or the Fabulous Moolah, the greatest female performer in WWE history.
Yeah, she's my number one. I mean, based on what she had, she was just more like Lita was amazing, and Lita was, one of a kind. The aerial acrobatics are unique for women, but Trish was just more polished. Like, she just, she was just could do a bit of everything. While Lita, wasn't going to really do technical wrestling moves or whatever. Maybe that just wasn't her thing. But Trish can do a little bit of everything. She had the look. She had the, swagger. That's what's shocking about Keibler and Tori Wilson taking before her. I'm sure the part of it is, they're eye candy. But Trish looks as good as them. That's the thing. She had all the skills in the ring and looked amazing.
Yeah, we're not talking about a dog here, man. We're talking about Trish Stratus. For anybody who hasn't seen her in her prime, do yourself a favor. Go look it up. Go look it up. Like right now, stop. Pause the podcast.
Yes.
Go check out some pics. Dry yourself off, then come back.
Yes, please. Now, with my pick, 46,
Yeah.
Okay, closing in on the final four here. Now, I'm going to make a pick here. Now, it's a brand new tag team, very new, but I'm going to, even if they broke up, it doesn't work out. I think they're both very talented. They have very eccentric, unique gimmicks. They're with each other now, though, and it works. And I think they could end up being a team that could be very, very interesting going forward, especially now that they might get much more opportunity, as you were before, exposure. But I'm going to go with, I forget their team name, but Fandango and Tyler Breeze.
The name is I think it's
Fanbrisco?
Fanbrisco, something like that. Breeze Dango.
Ty Dango?
Domingo, Santo Domingo.
Yes, flamenco.
Flamenco dancing. It's probably
Durango?
just as accurate. Yes.
Django?
Moreno. Kinshasa! Baby.
Never a bad time to yell either of those.
Oh, yeah. Just randomly, if you're working in an office, just randomly yell that out throughout the day. I guarantee you'll be the most popular cat in your office.
Yes, especially if your boss is looking. Then do it then.
Oh, yeah, no, take my word for it. Just don't call me afterwards.
Yes. All right, 47, the final four, 2 picks left.
Yes, 2 picks apiece. Now, what are we going to do here with the slim pickings we have? So, you know what? With 47, I got a solid female roster. I do. So, I'm going to pick a female who, as far as in-ring work, is an unproven commodity.
Interesting. I think I know you're talking about.
Yeah, but presentation-wise, she's honestly one of the best they had. I'm a little upset with how they've gotten away from how she was originally when she came in, but putting her back with someone who I also have on my roster, I think she can refine that swagger. I'm going with Lana.
I knew you were going
ravishing Russian herself.
Yes, I mean, unproven commodity is the best thing. Like, I doubt she's ever going to become, Natalia or anything like that, or Paige, but
Right.
yeah, if she can just be good with what she can do, in her character and getting people to dislike her or even like her, because that's the weird thing about it. She's good at being, sorority girlish kind of hateable character, but she also has this likableness to her. So,
It amazes me how far they got away from her character, because when she first came in, she had the ability to be maybe the strongest female character they've ever presented, because she was in control of that Rusev character during his peak.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we
know what happened.
Yeah.
She made some people in the back very angry.
Yeah, Heat is a killer.
Yes.
In the WWE, and the slightest little thing can just turn into, there goes the end of your push. But to their credit, Rusev is making a strong comeback, and the crowd still loves Lana. A little personal story real quick. I was at the Royal Rumble this year. I had the pleasure to be there in 2016. And Rusev drew number 3, I believe. Got a good reaction until they saw who was with him. As soon as Lana came out, the place erupted.
Wow.
And so, for her to still get those reactions after everything that happened with the Summer Rae feud, with the Ziggler, and bouncing her character back and forth, losing some of that swag, it shows a lot about her. So, she has that going for her, and I think that's real important to have the crowd behind you like she does. So, she should be just fine going forward as long as they stick her with Rusev and go back to the way they were,
Yeah, I completely agree. Enough said.
Enough said about that. And also, by the way, she looks, what's the word?
Good.
Oh, yes. That's the word.
Baby!
Not too Not too shabby.
48, second to last pick for me. I'm going to go female also.
Ultimate Warrior?
Who?
Oh, too soon. My bad.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to go with someone that's, a talented performer. She's been in the spotlight lately. And just giving further depth to my division. Super solid veteran. 48, Natalia.
Good pick. Really good pick. And also in keeping with keeping your male talents happy.
Yes. Yes. And, I mean, you can put her back if they do go back with the tag team. She can go right back with that tag team like she was, too. And, I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but, again, looks good.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's totally underrated. Natalia I'm that cool with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Natalie, that's Nat, right?
Hey, what's going on, Natalie? What's up?
But yeah, she might not be the first one that people think of in terms of great looking divas, but she's totally fine, man.
Yes, and she's done this whole, dominatrix look thing that's going on, showing off the curvy. And also, I think she was muscular, much more muscular when she first came in, sort of like Beth Phoenix, but she's, slimmed it down and curved it out to give more of a, feminine figure, and it's helped her. She looks, that much better looking and hotter, and, and I just like that. I mean, I'm sorry to say.
Oh yeah, no, by all means, just don't let Tyson hear you.
I would not say anything.
He is healed up, so I think he can do something about it.
All right, number 40 on the final pick for the
we've
SmackDown
made it.
brand.
The finish line is in view. Good God,
it's all over from here for you.
I'm gonna have postpartum after this podcast.
It's a sad time, very sad.
I tell you, but for my final pick, number 49. I'm going to finish it off with a tag team. Now, this team has absolutely nothing going for them right now. not a thing. Even though they've been built up as this big thing, for whatever reason, they had a gimmick that was entertaining on live shows.
Too cool?
Yes, dude, you're reading my mind here.
I heard something about them coming back, and I was like, Grandmaster Sexy!
For God's sake, man, bring
back the worm.
Yes, man, I'm going to do the worm as soon as we go off the air here. So just have the medics on standby. But it's the Shining Stars. Yeah, it's the Shining Stars. Primo and Epico, poor guys, just really... are saddled with a terrible, terrible gimmick that for whatever reason they thought would get them over. But it's a go nowhere gimmick. It really is. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
and it's a shame. They deserve better than that for the simple fact that they are totally solid performers. I'd put them in the category of Lucha Dragons or Vaudevillains in terms of talent. In the ring. Probably even better. Primo and Epico are totally solid hands. And they got a little bit of charisma to them. To their credit, they made the whole Los Matadors gimmick work. A lot of that was El Torito. But,
yes.
Yeah, and the fact that it was goofy. But like we talked about with Heath Slater, those comedy acts are important.
Yeah.
And they ran with it. So to get another serious shot here, it's not working. But the talent is there. So, for my last pick, it wouldn't kill me to give them a shot and see what I could do with them as a team. Or just, split them up and see what they could do singles, see what they got to provide,
That's all I got to say about the Shining Stars.
I know you were hoping to round out with them, man. But
I was really... I'm a little disappointed it wasn't too cool.
Yes, man. The cookies were on the window, and I just took them and ran. What do you want?
Yes, I mean... But anyway... Number 50, the final pick of our mock draft, Cheap Seats and the Stickman mock draft.
Mr. or Mrs. Irrelevant.
Yes.
That's just killing me.
Yes, and speaking of that, the Mr. Irrelevant of 2002 was the 57th pick. One crazy-eyed Perry Saturn.
Moppy!
Woo! Man, that guy was weird looking. But anyway, back to 50 for us. I'm going to go with somebody... He's getting a lot of TV time right now with a vignette package that was fun at first, and now it is just ran its course and just getting kind of head-scratching level of what is this? But I always thought he was a talented guy. I've never been a big fan, but I feel like he has ability. And not everybody, again, they all can't be world champions, but he could be a guy that could be interesting, maybe an Intercontinental champion or something like that. Number 50, Darren Young.
Yeah. Head scratching is the right word for those vignettes now with Mr. Backlund.
Yes.
That dude is a character. Oh, man. But yeah, now Darren Young is, I don't know, I mean, the dude's been around for a little while now. He was part of the whole Nexus thing.
Yep.
Survived that. Like I said, when I picked Titus, Primetime Players were a totally solid tag team.
Did they ever become tag champions? Right.
They did.
Okay, thank goodness.
They were actually the reason New Day's 2-time tag team champions.
Right.
Yep, they had a little run there. and they should have had one sooner, honestly.
Yes.
But yeah, Darren got the tools. You know what I mean? He's just, I don't know. Given the right circumstances, he could be a player. I'm just not sure how much of a player he could be.
Yeah, exactly. And then, when you're getting a 7th or 6th round pick in the NFL, you're hoping somebody that can stay on the team. And I think he's got quality to make the team and, contribute and be a guy who helps build other people or maybe even shocks the world and builds himself into a solid character, Right. You got to have guys like the Genius back in the day or, Coco Beware. They may not have been more
Birdman's in town.
Yeah, you got it, but they're memorable for their own reasons. And maybe Darren Young can do something now with this character where he's memorable for years to come with what he has the opportunity to do. So,
hey, stranger things have happened.
So that is the end. The last pick has been made. Thoughts on this journey we've taken in draftdom and silliness, and hopefully everyone stuck around to enjoy all of it. Thoughts, Stickman, Jose, what do you got?
Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the rest of my time, man. I don't know. Thoughts? I guess it's interesting who got chosen, but it's also interesting who didn't. Just running off some of the names that didn't get picked. Curtis Axel was somebody I was thinking about. That dude's gotten a raw deal. He really has. Tamina is another one you talked about with Naomi. Goldust, another totally solid veteran that's still hanging around. He could be a good hand as well. And Lord knows what's going to happen with this team because one of them is currently out for reasons that are, well, frankly, his own fault. But the Ascension, they just got such a raw deal since they've been on the main roster. There was such a big deal in NXT, have done nothing since getting called up. It's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, to add to that, there's a couple of more talents out there. Now that I look over, I could have went with this one. I mean, it might have been an interesting pick. It would have been a good late pick. Alicia Fox, she's a good add to any women's division. The one that could be one of those could go either way, on par with Lana, but maybe like the poor ladies version, Eva Marie. Like, they're working hard to get her somewhere, but she's just still not getting there, either with the mic or the ring work. But she looks the part, and she feels the part, so it's like you have already invested money, so they're going to keep trying, and she's one that, what can she deliver in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, but good and well, neither one of us was going to bite that bullet and get that heat and take her on any one of our rosters.
No.
Thank you. But no, you're right about that. I mean, they're pushing her hard, and if we're honestly going by marketability, things like that, she has built her brand through Total Divas and everything. They've invested a lot of time and money in her, so she could be a player as long as they don't assume she's going to be a face like they did when they ran her out there and she got booed out the building.
Yes.
Just accept the fact that they do not want to see her.
Yes.
Let her embrace that heel character that she was doing okay with in NXT when she was paired up with Nia Jax. That was a good pairing. Go with that.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, folks, this is the end of our road. This is the end of our journey. It was a fun time. This won't be the last podcast of Cheap Seats and the Stickman. We will have more things. Yes, we're going to have some stuff on movies. We're sure to have some stuff on sports, I'm sure. We're going to have some stuff all over the place. We're going to try to keep your fanboy and girl interests ready, willing, and able to want to come back and listen to more. So final thoughts before goodbye, Jose.
Hey, if any of that sounds appealing to you, if we speak your language, stay tuned. Plenty of good times to come. Can't wait.
All right, and that's it for us. See you later. This is Jason Burgos, Cheap Seats. Stickman Jose, give one goodbye before we go.
Goodbye, baby.